Hello Guardians, welcome to another Destiny 2 video, and at the time of this recording, Crota's End will be coming in 2 days on September 1st, which is a Friday, and so hopefully this video will help you get a general idea for each of the classes on what to bring / get ready for to come. So I want to stipulate before we get into this is that I have not done a day one complete, but I have participated in quite a few day ones as well as Grandmasters, so learning high-end, dealing with high-end content I'm very familiar with, even though I've not gotten it complete. And two, I have not done Crota's raid on D1, but I have watched the video before the recording, and so I got a general idea, but also knowledge of the enemy type that we're going against might be helpful for some tips and all that. So I just want to stipulate that don't know everything, but some tips might be helpful for you moving forward. So we're going to start with the Warlock, we'll move over to the Hunter, and then finally the Titan, and we'll just go over each of the subclasses, what kind of exotic armors I would suggest using, and any weapons and all that we'll cover in this segment here. So, and then there might be some weapons I might forget in the other segments, so we will see. So starting with Stasis. So Stasis. One thing I want to say is that I don't think Stasis will be very viable right now, because it's they're trying to get it back up, but it got nerfed pretty hard. So there might be other options better than Stasis, but if you are going Stasis Warlock, I would say go with Ozymandium gloves, just because of your cold snap grenades being able to turn into turrets with the aspect Bleak Watcher. And so if you just need to slow zone everything out, just be careful if someone is running Strand, because Stasis and Strand, they cancel each other out. So just be aware of that. But Ozymandium gloves, if you're running Stasis, very good, solid pick there. And if you don't, Eye of Another World, good solid choice for anything balanced, because there's not really too many Strand-based exotics for Warlocks. Okay, let's go with Solar to tried and true. You can go with Sun Bracers for high ad clear, just get a melee kill, spam your grenades for 4 or 5 seconds, good zoning, ad clear and all that. But if you don't have Sun Bracer, if you're not going Sun Bracers, I would say go Phoenix Protocol. The reason is, even though it says gain super energy for kills and assists inside the well, damage period of any kind adds to that super energy. So if you break a shield, that breaking of the shield, even though it didn't kill the enemy, that increases your super energy regeneration. So if your all friends are inside the well with your Phoenix Protocol on, you'll be able to pop wells left and right very quickly, especially if you're doing ad clear and all your other allies are doing as well. Another good one, if you're doing it, is Luna Faction Boots, just for faster reload, especially if you're doing a well. Lunas, people are doing rockets, faster reloads, just helpful with the team. Also, Boots of the Assembler is also a good solid one. Now, Boots of the Assembler is not strictly to Solar. You can run it on any subclass, but when you stand in a rift, it sends out orbs that you can then target allies and heals them. So Boost Assembler, just as a general whole, is also a good solid pick with Lunas and Phoenix Protocol, which is Solar based. So Void, I would say go Nezarec Sin. It's just a good solid one with your Void weapons, and just get Void kills, spammage, Child of the Old Gods, very good way of zoning enemies and just keeping your health topped off with the Devour perk, really good one. The new exotic arms, which I don't have on right now. Let's see, let me go over here real quick. Let's see here. Should be on, yeah, this one. So this one, if you're focused more on your child, if the more the child gets damaged, the higher damage output it goes. So it's more like escalating damage. And then if you need to take it away, you can go interact with it and pull it up. But with the in-game content, I don't really see that as being a really good viable option, especially if you're trying to move and all of that. I forgot AN Souls, also good solid pick for any subclass. You don't have to worry about running for a particular one. This one just gives you a heavy brick special for the team when you do executions. Good solid pick right there. All right, Arc, one of my favorites, which I'll probably be using as my main source of ad clear if I'm on ad clear duty. Arc with Fallen Sunstar with Trace build on Trace, it's just like you just get abilities back left and right. Really good ad clear. I use this on master difficulty raids. It's just good solid ad clear. Nothing just is left standing after you throw a few grenades. It's just really good and solid. And I don't see anything else there. And finally, Strand. I would say I Have Another World is a good solid pick. Just this goes well with Stasis or Strand because there's no really good Strand-based exotics for Warlocks, as I said before. But I Have No World is just a good jack of all trades. Just gives you ability energy back. This mask here, if you're going with trace rifles, but a lot of people use cold art with the arc subclass. But you know, and then this gives you, let's see here, if you defeat a marked target, special ammo is generated and heavy ammo for your allies. So if you go more support, you could go with that. But some people I've been talking to are going to be using it, but don't really see it as good viable option. And then as one of my builds I suggested, Rain of Fire with Strand because of the aspect Weavewalk, just so you can reload your fusion rifle ammo and all that. So could be valuable, but there might be other options that you can choose. All right, for the next segment here, this is going to apply to both the Warlock, Hunter, as well as Titan. So I'm just going to cover it here and now, since we're on my character has most of the guns. But you can apply this to any of the subclasses. So don't feel like, oh, I had to be on Warlock to use this weapon. No. Okay, so the tried and true that's worked in Val Disciple for winning was Izzy's with rockets, Izzy Nagi's Burn, and then Apex Predator, which I used with Reconstruction, Bait and Switch. Just good solid perks there. And the way to get Apex Predator is to grind Last Wish raid if you have access to the Dreaming City. Good solid pick right there. The reason I have Wishender and Arbalist on is because with most contest / master mode based enemies, there are champions, and since we're going against Hive, we're going against Ogres, which are unstoppable, and then Boomer Knights, which are typically barrier based. And I don't think we're going to be going against any overload champions, but don't quote me on that. But if we're going against barrier champions, what better than use Wishender? Does not cost any special, it's primary, good solid break barrier shields because of its intrinsic. But if you don't want, you can switch to Arbalist if you're willing to fork out the special ammo finders. Strong against barrier champions, just a good solid linear right there. And then just use any auto rifle because of the artifact for the anti-barrier auto rifle. Or if you want to go bows, go that way. Excuse me. Monte Carlo is a good solid one. Again, this could go for any class because it just generates your melee if you're a melee based focus build. Quicksilver Storm, even though I personally don't use it a lot of people swear by it. It's an auto rifle, so it has an intrinsic barrier for the season. Good solid one right there. And good old tried and true Outbreak Perfected. I highly suggest if you don't have it already, grab it. If you're going to be doing day one, have it in your primary slots, because my team has done a lot of final phases where we're running out special heavy, and Outbreak comes on top to do the damage because of the Siva 9-Nice, especially if you have multiple people using it. It just shreds bosses, even on contest mode. Good solid group and good gun right there. So highly suggest getting Outbreak. Secondary slots. Again, we're going to get a scout rifle for unstoppables, or a fusion rifle right there for the unstoppables. Right there, so that's why I have a scout there. For Barons, another gun from the Val Disciple. Good ad clearing is a wave frame grenade launcher, just good ad clear. Good solid gun there. I use my funnel web. You might need a glaive for protection. I don't know. I don't know why I have a handgun there. Divinity. If you're a div person or dedicated div person, have that on you before day one. And so I'm going to be definitely using that. Now, you might be questioning, why Risk Runner? Well, since we're going against Hive, there's going to be a lot of arc-based damage. And so Risk Runner actually might be a good play here, especially if you're on ad clear. When we're taking arc damage, this weapon becomes more powerful in resistance incoming arc damage. And when you get kills, it jolts to the other enemies in line. So, if you're having issues with arc resistance and all that, Risk Runner might be a play. And it is an exotic, but you can use it for, you still have your legendary slots they can use. So if, let's say, we're needing this could be a good solid play here. Risk Runner, resilience to arc, get your barriers champions out, and then Apex Predator with reconstruction bait and switch. Good solid pick. So it might be a good option there for survivability. Apex Predator, I've mentioned quite a few times already. Good solid roll right there. It goes to the deep if you have a cold comfort with tracking chill clip or bump in night with chill clip. Good solid options there for helping your friend's damage output. An LMG, the Swarm Adapt might be a good solid pick there just for just mowing down enemies. If you're galley or galley person, definitely make sure you have that in your heavy slot. The Wither on the Hothead is a good solid one right there. Two-tailed Fox with a catalyst. You can shoot 3 rockets instead of 2, all for the price of 1. So that's a good solid pick there. If you need to do high traversal, other half with Eager's Edge or any sword with Eager's Edge, might be a good one if you need to traverse things back and forth very quickly. Lament, another sword, exotic, I know, but this one will give you a good survivability, especially it has intrinsic barrier champion mod, but also when you do damage, it heals you. So actually, if you're having problem survival, Lament might be a good solid pick. And Sleeper Simulant, a good, nice, solid pick as well. Just high damage with linears if you need to. But yeah, those are all the heavies and secondaries, primaries that I can think of. Definitely comment down below on what you think. Let's move on to the Hunter. All right, on to the Hunter. So since we're on Strand, might as well start with Strand. So I would say the Whirling Maelstrom new aspect that was just released for this season might be a really good one, especially if you're detonated ad clear. I'm working on a build for that, but probably won't be available before day 1. I'll try my best. But Whirling Maelstrom is a very good one for just massive damage for mob-based enemies. So very good one. Widow Silk, but also Snaring Slam are also good aspects that you can tie in with that. Exotic, I would say, is this headpiece. I'm not going to try to pronounce it because I'll butcher it, but it's just gives you woven mail when you grapple and flinch resistance, especially with high-end content. Getting woven mail is for resilience is always helpful if you do the strand routes. But let's see here. Yeah, so that is for Strand. I don't see any other options. You might... No, Star Eaters is for something else. So, Strand, I would say just get the Strand exotic that goes pairs with it. Stasis, I heard that is a little bit of a change. So, you could use the Mask of Bacchus, which will give you arc damage output. So, when you use it, and works with Strand. Let's see here. I'm not too familiar with Hunter, so give me a second here. There was, I don't have the exotic on this character, but let's see here. There was Renewal Grasps. Apparently, they fixed all the Dustfield issues, I believe, with this new season. So Renewal Grasps might be a good option for you to if you want to go the stasis routes. Arc, I would say you will need to go Assassin's Cowl if you're having problems. Just a 1-2 punch shotgun, which we have 1-2 punch shotgun, but also just the empowering and healing, final blows, invisibility, but also restores portion of your health. Again, I use this build, the Arc build for my solo run of Ghost of the Deep, just for survivability. It was very helpful, but also, especially with Gathering Storm, the super It's very good damage. And then some people, they tie it with Star Eater Scales. So Assassin Scale with Star Eater Scales, good options right there. I don't see a lot of solar hunters, to be honest with you, at least within the current sandbox. But I would say either go with Yamakara Spine if you want to use trip mines. I used a video from one of my lost sectors. Actually, it was pretty decent. We went flawless, but I wouldn't say that's top tier. But then if you need to do high DPS, I would say Celestial Nighthawk with the Marksman super, just so you can get the high deeps melt if you're having troubles with damage, I would say. But I think there might be better options than going solar. And then the Void Hunter, tried and true method. a very solid choice here, just because you have the dead shot ability, so you can have that crit if you're if you don't have a div up. Trip on the Mobius Quiver, always good solid damage there. And then tie it with Omnioculus, just so you can have 2 invisibles and give your teammates resilience. Very good solid one. Or if you want to go damage with Gear Falcons and tie it with I don't have to void LMG on this person, but Gear Falcons is also a good solid pick right there. And then I think that's all the classes there. I did forget in my Warlock segment, Tractor Cannon. That's always been useful lately. So if div is not working out for you, maybe switch over to Tractor Cannon. That does put a heavy slot on someone who's willing to put Tractor Cannon, but the debuff is very nice. Another one is a Cataclysmic, which fourth times the charm. Bait and switch, good solid linear. Again, this is on Valid Disciple. If you're not crafted, I highly suggest doing that, and then just to do an LMG or so. And I don't see there's any other Malfeasance actually might be a good doable option with Lucky Pants right here. Malfeasance might be a play. You know, I've heard some crazy things with day 1 raids, so Lucky Pants might be an option for you with the shotgun. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Let's move on to the Titan. All right, here we're on the Titan, and since we're on strand, might as well start with that one as well. All right, so there's no real good strand let's see here, strand exotics that I would suggest choosing, but there is one of the aspects that was released is the Banner of War. Now, this might be a good solid pick for you Titans out there. Go strand, Banner of War. Reason being is that it gives, when you get a melee kill of any kind, you'll get an aura that will start healing your party. Again, I'll do a build, but I'm not quite sure if I'll be able to do it in time, but hopefully we can get that out. Healing your allies, really helpful, especially on high-end content. So Bannerfall might be a go-to for day 1 with Syntheseps, because this buffs your melee damage, because you need a melee kill of some kind with a sword, glaive, or melee, just in general. So Syntheseps with strand might be a play right there. And so now moving on to Void. If you want to do some spammage, you would go with Heart of Inmost Light. Abilities briefly improves your other abilities, so pop a barricade, throw your shield, and then throw a grenade. That buffs your grenade times 2. Good damage, and then just keep that rotation going and all of that. Then if you needed to, you could go with Ursus Furiosa, which gives the banner shield, Sentinel shield, just so you can get some super orbs. So if you need to have a zoning protection against some high-end damage, that might be helpful with Ursus. Back a few seasons ago, double Ursus was a really good play, so that might be an option for you. Arc. So if we move over to Cures of the Falling Star, that's a sort of a give me with what's it? Yeah, Thunder Crash, T Crash. Why am I forgetting? So T Crash with Cures if you need high burst damage, really good one. But also jolting, being able to throw your I don't know why it has storm grenades. That was back, but like pulse grenades, really good solid one choice right there. And then solar titans. Who could forget about the solar titans? I don't. Yeah, Loreley. If you need to have some survivability, but again, if you've been playing Titan long enough, you probably don't need Loreley for survivability. You could go Synthosaps for your bonk hammer, throw bump bump, or what you could do, what I do when I'm on my Solar Titan is Phoenix Cradle, because with Soul Invictus lasts twice as long, and then any sunspots that land on enemies, allies can go through and it gets them buffed. So if you're trying for a buffing support build, Phoenix Cradle with Solar is probably a good play option for you. Let's see here. Actually, Xenophage might be a good solid heavy, since I didn't see that on my other one. And Wither Horde, always a good one for zoning and just high DPS. Maybe the Navigator, but you'll see with the giving your allies Woven Mail, but that takes the linear slot that you could probably use better with Wither Horde and just being able to survive a little bit. So that is the Titan build. So hopefully you find this helpful to figure out what kind of build you want for day one. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I can get those videos out soon so you can get prepared for day one. So see you then.